So there have been some questions raised about the best way to provide semester exams in Schoology. The primary question being, how do we allow students, or only a group of students, a specific window of time, let's say 2 hours, to take a test on a specific day, especially when our test is out there in a cross-listed or linked sections. So I want to walk you through that process real quick. So here's what I recommend. First, when you're in your course, whether it's linked or cross-listed, and you're adding your materials, let's just say, I'm gonna pick a day real quick. Instead of using add a test or quiz, I want you to use the add assessment. So that's the first thing. Now you're gonna give that test, like sample test, a name. And you can set that due date or leave it alone. If you leave it blank, it's gonna default to the last day in marking period 2, because it's the last day here, which is December 18th. Okay, so I'm going to leave mine blank. Now, in submissions, I want you to say enable from and until, and now you can set the date. Now, if on this particular day that test is on December 15th, then I'm going to say from December 15th to December 15th. And if I only want it open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., that test is now only available in that time window from 12:15 until 12:15 at 5 p.m. Now, password is an option, completely yours, whether you want to add one or not. I'm going to leave mine disabled because I'm going to do something different here in a minute. I'm going to change my category to summative. And then down here in the options, there's two things I want to do. One, I want to enable grade statistics just because I want to see how things are going. But then I want to choose under options individually assign. This allows me to then go in this box and start typing my students' names to create a very specific list of students who can take this test on this particular day. And so I'm going to fill in that box with my students' names for my first and sixth period, if that's who's testing on the 15th, and I'm going to hit create. So now this test is only available to those students. Once I've done that, I can then go into this test and I can set the time limit by saying yes and give them 120 minutes or 2 hours of test. I can randomly order the questions. I don't want them to see the points per question. I want to be able to allow them to flag their questions for review later, to eliminate answer choices. I'm not a math class, so I'm not going to use any of the math tools. I am going to enable text-to-speech for my students, highlight tools. I don't want them to use a notepad. I don't want them to be able to see the results after they submit, because I don't want them cheating and going back and giving each other answers. And I only want them to have one attempt, and I'm going to hit save. So now I've created my assessment, the basics of my assessment. I can go into the questions tab and now start creating my test itself. Once I'm done with all of that, I can preview the test to see what it looks like. And then the last thing I want you to do is to click on this actions and choose save to resources. You can leave it in your home folder, leave it in no folder, and leave it called sample test or whatever you named it, and say save the copy there. Here's why we're going to save the copy. What we did just now was we created on the 17th, or this Tuesday here, this test for those particular kids. But now when I have multiple classes, I have on Wednesday, I need in here the same test, but for a different group of kids. So now the way I'm going to do that is hit add materials. I'm going to go to import from resources. I'm going to choose that sample test and I'm going to hit import. And then I'm going to hit import again. Then I'm going to come over to the wheel and I'm going to hit edit. And now I'm going to edit again my basic settings. I want the submissions enabled from until for this new group. This is going to be on the 16th since it's Wednesday. It's going to be from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. again. Still summative, still what you call it. Again, individually assigned. And now I'm going to assign my second and fifth period students. So this is how we can control who can test when. I'm still going to want to click on my sample test and make sure all my settings remain the same, which they should. As you can see, that's how we recommend for you guys to go ahead and do this. I'm going to put these instructions in the email attached. And if you have any further questions, please feel free to reach out at me. My telephone number is 3451 for extension, or of course you can email me at jerryshishoka@kalinisd.org. Thank you.